We're going to show a feature of TAMESSO, that is the transparent screen. This feature is very important for environments like emergency response in hospitals, when they want to see the monitoring equipment behind the screens, even when the user is not logged in, want the screen to be transparent. Also manufacturing environments like chip manufacturers, where several people go to the same workstation and they perform separate action, but I need to know who did what, even though they were sharing the screen. But again, I don't want to put a screensaver that will block the information that is behind. Also for places where you need to do monitoring of systems of all sorts. I just want to make sure that I know who's doing what, but I want the screens to remain transparent so people can see what's in the background. So in here, if we go in here and log in into the patient info application, we see that this is John Smith who actually logged in. If we go to the mainframe application, we see that it's John S, also the ones that log in. So this is the single sign-on as we have seen very many times before. I'm going to open here Task Manager as an application to show, something that reflects the locking of the screen, but I can still see what's in there. So let's say that John walks away and he's going to tap using his RFID cards. As we see, the screen is locked, and I can still see what's going on in here. But if I try to click anywhere, I cannot. I'm clicking and pressing the keyboard, and nothing is happening. The screen is locked, and it is and we still see the transparency of it. Let's say that Jane now comes in. Jane taps her RFID card, and you see that the TAMESSO is instructed to close that account where Jane was. And for example, if we go here to the same application, the AS400 application, we'll see that it is Jane S, the one that gets logged in. So this is the single sign-on as we know it and like it as before. And they say that Jane locks her workstation, and again, if I click, I do not get access to the screen, and Jane and John can switch. Now, the interesting thing is that I can bring now the IMS server here, and I can unlock the IMS server, and I can bring the IMS administration in order to show the logs. And the logs are going to be showing who did what, who was on the screen in a particular moment and access this or that application. So we accept that self-signed certificate, and we'll see. We're going to log in as an administrator, and I actually, for sake of the demo, I made John Smith an admin here. So I'm going to log in as such, and I'm going to search for the users and see who did what in a particular period of time. Did I click here and log on? Yeah. I could give this IMS server a little bit more memory. I have the two VMs running on the same machine. And if I say search for John, we're going to look for the logs. Actually, I can move this a little bit to the right and see what are the things that John actually did. Here's John Smith. We go to the audit logs, and here today is March the 18th, and we see the things that John actually did and the actual timestamp, which application he actually used. If we go back to search for user and look for Jane, we see the same thing. You go to the Audi logs, and these are the actions that actually Jane did. So as we see, it's a transparent screen. It's one of the features that that TAMESSO have, that allows on those environments where you don't want to interrupt the visual on what's going on behind the screen, but you still need to make sure that for all purposes, auditing and security, you know who was behind the screen doing any specific action.